they want to talk about the psychological effects of cannibalism. I would like to bring attention to the psychological effects of inbreeding or incest. So I don't mean it in a bad way because there's different ways, like fertilization of an egg. There's insemination. There's rape. Incest is legally classified as rape, either way that it happens. It can be male on female, female on male, father, daughter, sister, brother, cousin on cousin, aunt, nephew, uh, uncle, niece, like grandparent, grandchild. There's so many ways that incest can happen. Incest is legally defined as rape, either way that it happens. There's like if you like you're getting down to like the proper wording, and that it's different when you're in court because sometimes if it's female on male and he's younger than she is, it's aggravated sexual assault of a minor because they're talking about women abusing boys sexually. Um, there are people that don't know that they have like incest in their ancestry because they don't know who they're related to. There are people that do not know who their parents are. There are people that were adopted. There are people that are abductions. I was a child abduction, and I can prove it. I'm not related to these people. Like I went to the FBI and I got a job because I'm not related to these people, and they abducted me. And they're like, "Oh, you're schizophrenic." I have the genetic documentation. Like there is an actual recording of where my twin brother and I were born. We weren't born in America. We were brought here. I'm not illegally in this country. I have documents from this country because I was brought here. I don't have illegal documents. I have documents that show that I was here because I was a child abduction, so they gave me documents from this country because they didn't know where I was from. I was here, so they didn't know where I was from. That's not illegal. That is what they are legally obligated to do. I was brought here. I was not born here. I'm not the only one that they've done stuff like that to. When you're sitting there dealing with something that's supposed to be intelligence, so that the intellectual community doesn't mean like Harvard or college or like that's not the same. They're talking about like the military, like globally, because there's different military that work together. There are different jobs that the CIA do. One, they're not going to be in no sub basement with a fucking lab manufacturing viruses and diseases. The CIA investigates stuff like that. The CIA aren't going to be putting no fucking pollen in the air. They're not going to be doing some like weird ass shit with some drug. Like no, they'll investigate people that sell drugs. They'll investigate traffickers, but they're not going to be the person selling drugs. The FBI will sell drugs. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But I think you're looking more to like something that you're ignoring. If you go back and look at world history, the Marine Corps was supposed to replace the police in the US because of the Polish military that were sending officers here from their military as spies. Like, I don't think you understand like what a spy is. The CIA are spies. So that means that they report back and are employed by someone, usually through a civilian office. They do have a military background, which is why I'm sitting there like, no. I'm very aware that like James Bond was a movie. Yes, it was a movie. Yes, it was a book. There's a whole TV series on James Bond and some other places that are actual offices. So sometimes they do write books and they make character like that's fine. But at the same time, you are delusional. If you don't, you can go to a public library and get an education on the CIA, and you can go put in an application at someone's desk in a public office for the CIA. They will pay your bills. It is a job. An entire department through the U.S. It stands for Central Intelligence Agency. So Central Intelligence Agency. It's an agency. If you can't go look that, you can Google it. I'm not gonna Google it. I do Google stuff, but I'm just saying, coding and programming, that's a part of what the military do. I was a data and security analyst, so like I would go through pages of documents and other things because I was an analyst. That's what I was. I will never do that again. I don't do programming. I don't do coding. I will never do anything like that again. Ever. I'm not legally obligated to your schizophrenia. I'm not legally obligated to your hallucination. My husband said, "Hell to the no." I'm a housewife. I'm gonna just be over here. When he's done, I'm gonna be over here. I didn't want to say no. I was just trying to go home and make my marinara. I'll be over here. Uh, I was just trying to. I'm so serious. No, I'm laughing because I'm nervous. That's all. The anxiety in my chest makes me think I'm having a seizure sometimes, and sometimes I am because I have stress-induced seizures. They don't believe in medical care. They don't believe in doctors. They don't believe in dentists. They don't believe in medical licensing. They don't believe in any type of medical care because they are schizophrenic. Your drug-induced hallucinations. That does not mean that you're schizophrenic. Paranoia does not mean schizophrenic. There are different terms that are used for displaying symptoms as a description of the symptom that you're displaying. If you're psychotic, you can have sociopathic tendencies without being a sociopath. If you're a sociopath, you can have psychotic tendencies without being psychotic. There are other mental health diagnoses. If you would actually go to a college or like a university, you can order books from a public library to be shipped from like other libraries. You can go into a New York public library and ask how to get books like mailed to you from a college. If you want something that they have or something close to it, you can actually ask where to go buy it. You just go to a public library. It's a free education. I don't understand. You can go use the New York Public Library to get a college degree online. I don't understand. I'll say it out loud. Ain't no Priscilla child molesting serial killer rapist pay for my education. I don't work for Facebook. I did not work for no one other than my children to spend my money because ain't no goddamn way. I don't know these people. Yes, they did rape me. They raped us. I don't go to anyone that raped me begging for not nothing but nothing. I'm gonna call the Secret Service and I'm gonna hand them all the information. That's absolutely one of the people that did it. If they did that to me, what did they do to her? If he did that to me, what did he do to him? That's legally that. Well, that was my job. I'm permanently disabled. I'm not completely blind. I am legally blind. And I'm not fully disabling, but I was not trained to go out with a unit or a team as anything other than an experienced direction of what happened, where to go, so they're not going in blind. I have this documentation and this evidence that they did this here, and this here. There's a map here of the interior of the building, and they go here, 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 and here. That's what I do. I get documentation and evidence, and I go between two separate parties to give the information that they cannot physically trade for themselves. And I do get paid for that. That is part of what the CIA does. I am not a part of the CIA anymore. I am not a part of the CIA anymore. I'm disabled. I was supposed to go home to my office and work from my office. And they're like, oh, you're schizophrenic. You're not getting raped enough. You're not a soldier with the military. You're faking everything that you do in your life because you are schizophrenic. I don't know if you know what a service member's ID is, but like you have a card that has documentation. Like just similar to a social security number, but it's for the military. I don't think they understand what that means. Like there's insurance and other benefits that go with your identification number. But when you have a security ID with the military, that's how they know who you are. That's your employee ID number. Every business that has documentation of any of any tax for employment or anything like that. You are